so far. That's a good sign. This thing is the old 455. I think is like on its last leg, so we're gonna be doing something with that pretty soon. But hopefully to make it a shot. We'll see. All right, so ProCharger's back in. I didn't want to bore you with putting a ProCharger back in. I've already put it on, taking it off. So the next step is smoke testing it. There's nothing that will piss off a tuner more than you bringing in a car and it having a vacuum leak or boost leak, and there's nothing that can be done, and they have to reset the appointment. And so we're gonna go through, smoke test the motor. Oh my God, come on. How did I do this last time? I just put a hose over that for the top one, right? Yeah. Oh my God, really? Okay, let's turn it on, make sure. Oh, stupid. Gotta have the air compressor hooked up. I knew I was forgetting something. Turn it back off. Oh, damn, it's already, okay. I don't think anything will come out there. What you're looking for here is just, if there's a tiny leak, typically you're gonna see a tiny little stream of smoke coming up from somewhere. So usually for the back of the intake, you're gonna see it coming up underneath the cowl. And there isn't a lot of vacuum hoses on these, LSs, so there's usually only a few places you're going to see it from. You're either going to see it from the back of the intake, or the intake seals, or front, by the map sensor, wherever you run your boost gauge hose, which luckily looks like it's not leaking. Oh, yeah, let's let this thing fill up with smoke. Let this run for a few minutes and fill everything up. All right, so I don't see anything on top. It looks like everything's good. I'm gonna test the charge pipe now and the vacuum line for the boost gauge with the blow-off valve. Turn that off for a second. Come on. Good Lord. Yeah, chances are it's not leaking. But it would be the one time that I don't check it. It does. So. Okay, so let's put this thing back down again. The bypass vacuum line comes up here and into this T, and then runs to the back of the intake manifold. So we're gonna watch this and the back of the intake. And then when you hook up the smoke machine, you're supposed to hook it up to a vacuum line on the intake, and then it goes through the intake and everything else. You can theoretically just hook it up here and it'll go through the whole system. But there's like a few places that I just want to make sure, because I have had leaks on the T for the bypass valve or blow-off valve. I haven't had a leak on one of the charge pipes yet, but I mean, it seems to be a pretty common occurrence for a lot of people. So just want to know 100% that those aren't, the intercooler piping isn't leaking. So just, doing my due diligence before bringing it in. See, there's a leak. There's a leak. I just saw a thin line of smoke. Dude, it is so thin though. Where the hell? Oh, there we go. I just saw one. Come on, man. Where are you? Think I see it. I think it's coming from this back. Put another tie strap on that. It is just barely leaking. Like, it's not leaking now. I think it stopped when I turned it. All I did was turn the hose and it stopped leaking, so it doesn't need much. Oh my God, you were in an awesome spot here. Come on, there you are. All right, let's see. Nope, there we go. It's leaking again. Dude, I'm gonna put some glasses on or something. Like, I can't see it. It's barely trickling. This will help. Why are you wet? Dude, it's gotta be that one. It's gotta be. Yeah, it's definitely where it's leaking from. Okay, let me try. It looks like this one's leaking. It's one of the two. Okay, so yeah, that's gotta be it, dude. What's gotta be it? Because now it's coming out worse. So maybe that's all needed. Are we still on? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if it was gonna smoke, it would smoke now. Okay, so we got one minute leak fixed. Every little bit counts though when you're dealing with boost. Because right now it's not even under boost. All right, so now let's get it back up in the air. All right, so now put you back. Yeah, I'll turn you off. Oh, now, come on. So, one of the things that we have to do is bleed the brakes. I'm not sure what's going on. We installed the TBM brakes manual master cylinder and everything worked great in the beginning, but I just got in the car and there were no brakes. So there's a couple different possibilities. When I did put the master in the first time, something happened where it sat overnight and I think too much of the fluid drained out. And so even though I bench bled the master, I may have let too much fluid out and now it has to be bench bled again. In which case you can, you know, every week or so, like bleed it and get the air out eventually, or you can take it out and you can actually do it. But it's not an easy install, so I really don't want to have to deal with that, but I may end up having to, because the other possibility is if you watch the TBM brake install video, which is just like a generalized video on how to, you know, install the master, they show you what it looks like apart, and when you pull the push rod out, it has all these seals on it. And the push rod has to be adjusted correctly so that you're at like 0 preload on the pedal. And if you're not, if it's pushing it in at all, then the seals on the push rod are going to be in the wrong place. So it's a possibility for it to leak. So it could be that it's not exactly at 0 preload. So anyway, we're gonna have to do some diagging and, you know, figure it out. But the first thing I'm gonna do is just bleed the brakes, make sure that there's no leaks or anything like that externally, and you know, then we'll go from there. And after that, that's really the only other thing we got to do on this. So I'm waiting on a dyno appointment on Wednesday. Today is Thursday. So sometime next week, we'll be putting together the dyno video. After I'm done with this, with the brakes, we're gonna go drive it, make sure it's in boost. Already gone through and smoke tested it and make sure we don't have any boost leaks or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, it's ready to go. So we'll do this, we'll run it, make sure that we're getting into boost, and then we will push this to the side, bring Ben's back in, and we have the motor out and built. So now is the time to start hooking up the Holley EFI. It's a lot easier when the motor's out and you can drill things and move things, you know. You could literally, like, you know, sit in the engine compartment while you're wiring stuff up. So yeah, that'll be next. But all right, let me hook up all the stuff to do this. I did this last time. That's awesome. That's exactly what I don't want you to do, but okay. All right, I figure what size this thing is. All right, go ahead and pump it again. Is it all the way down?
I'm pushing all the way down now. It's not floor yet.
Okay. All right, let me go to the other side.
Floor.
Okay. All right, pump it up again.
Holding it down.
Okay.
Floor.
Oh, there's definitely air in there. All right, again.
Floor.
Pump it up. It's working. That's all we need to know. Good Lord. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, once it got up to about 10, I let out of it because tires want to come loose. It's, tires are cold, street's cold. It's like 38 degrees outside. Good Lord. Okay. I don't want to get too crazy anyway because we still got to bring it to the dyno and have him fine tune everything. So, I don't know if the AFR is right. We have enough spark, fuel, whatever, you know. So, we just got to find a place to turn around. Yeah, it feels right. The only problem, the blow-off valve is fluttering. So usually when that happens, typically it's like the spring is too tight or like there's a vacuum problem. But I mean, we've already checked for a boost leak. There is no boost leak. And I mean, it's not that old. Like, I don't think, it's probably not a year old. So it shouldn't be having no problem. I don't know if, I mean, it may be just the direction that we have it pointed because it is kind of pointed down at like a 45. And when I had it on before on the other intercooler, like piping, like it was aiming straight up. So I don't know if it hanging down could have something to do with that or what, but it's another thing to mess with. The other thing that we kind of have to figure out now before we bring it to the dyno is how tight do we want the tensioner to be. And it's a spring-loaded tensioner, but there are, I think there's like 3 different adjustment holes of like how you can align it so it's putting more pressure on the belt. And the belt right now feels like a serpentine belt tension. So you don't want to go too tight because if you go too tight, then you could actually put too much tension on. If there's too much tension on the belt, then it's pulling too hard on the crankshaft pulley, which is pulling on the crankshaft, which could literally rip the front snout off of the crankshaft. So you don't want to make it too tight, but we're nowhere close. This is, like I said, like regular serpentine belt tension. It needs to be a little bit tighter than that. So we may have to take it apart, which is a pain in the ass, but I don't want to get all the way there and then find out that we should have made it tighter because we're not going to do it there at the dyno. It takes too long, so I think we're going to have to do that.
Rim came with it built in.
Yeah, the bracket.
All they had to do was attach
Connect
it to the car in
yeah.
the right spot.
Yeah. Okay.
And the brakes from there, then we went and hooked up the brakes. 1 line to 1 front brake.
Yeah.
And then 3 lines, 2 back brakes, and the other right front was with the back brakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pulling bad. I told him it locked up coming down a hill.
Yeah.
From the road to the street going down 13, and I slid. It's going slow, but it locked up.
But it locked up like, yeah.
Yeah, and I slid, and it stopped at the sidewalk. I
awesome.
didn't go out well, I wasn't going, but maybe 5 miles per hour.
You're right, yeah. But yeah, if you want to run over there, we can run over there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take a look at it. You know, I just don't want to be that guy that's...
no, Javier is good, and he's a little frustrated right now because he's done some good checking.
Okay, so then it's probably the right time to go over there. He's probably at his wit's end. All right, so we were getting ready to pull the ProCharger back off and adjust the tensioner, but my landlord came by, and he's a gearhead too, and he's having trouble with his fuel gauge. I don't know if it's not grounded out correctly or what, but we're going to go run over there and look at that for him, and then we'll come back and, you know, we'll take it all apart again, so...
He says you got it working.
All right.
Mike, this is Javier.
How you doing, Javier? Nice to meet you, man. This is my son, Max.
Yeah. And
So you got to figure it out. So what was it?
For some reason, got the old cable.
Yeah.
Got it 4.5 volt. The ground, you know.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah.
so he ran a new cable.
Run new cable. But this car got everything holy.
Yeah.
Tank.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like it had to be something out of the ordinary because, you know, I mean, the Holly's new and the gauges are a simple system. So
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, it's going to end up being something. He's going to have to check like the resistance in the wiring or something. There's going to be something weird out of the normal. Well, cool. Glad you got it figured out.
Yeah.
What year is the Pontiac?
It's an 01.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the red one is a what?
02.
02?
Yeah.
I think it's 68.
That's
a great year.
They're going to see which one comes out faster.
Yeah, we should be about the same.
How many HP?
Well, the thing is, like, so he has the bigger ProCharger, but I have a direct port nitrous as well. So it's like, if we get to even, if he's winning, then I have the upper hand because I have nitrous. So we'll see.
when you go for the run, you already planning a date?
Yeah, Wednesday I'm going on the dyno run. Oh, you mean when we race?
Yeah.
Oh no, I got to get so we got to put his motor back in his car. Yeah, so his motor's out now. So he had a stock bottom end LS1 that we put Texas Speed heads and cam on. And so we, like the motor, LS1 bottom ends are good for around like 600 horsepower. And he was making like 630, so it was starting to come apart. So he got a 408 stroker from Texas Speed. And then we put his heads and cam back on that. So now he should be good for over 1,000. So then I just put the motor together. He got a 4L80 swap. I got to put that in. And then I'm putting Holley EFI in there too. So now that his motor's out, I'm putting the Holley EFI in because it's easier with the motor out to wire all this stuff
Let me
up.
call you back.
And
Okay, bye.
so we probably still got like another 2 weeks realistically, before I have everything done and have it dynoed. And so yeah, like next month we'll be at the track.
Well, Javier every year bought a new T-Rex.
Oh yeah.
That's the last one. The red one that they couldn't sell.
Oh, that's awesome.
He beat him up. And then he's got the Jeep with
392.
yeah.
Oh really?
Then
Nice.
He's got the Camaro.
So you got some good stuff.
Now he's got his son and his daughter are growing up. They all want muscle.
Of course,
And the wife-
that's what
and the
happens,
wife
man.
Wants muscle.
Yep.
Everybody says.
Oh, mine too, man. She has a 15 Camaro SS, and then she wanted me to build her a Night Rider car. So now we got a 87 Trans Am that we're doing heads and cam on a LS1, and she bought like all the suspension and everything from UMI, and we like restored this car, and yeah. So it's when they all get interested in it, that's when you go broke. That's when all your money goes to
Yeah.
It's like we better start working because
Happy.
can't pay for all. Yeah, right.
But it's Dad's fault because he introduced.
He started the whole thing.
He started the whole thing and let them get excited.
That's
about
right.
It too. You've seen the car?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you never seen it?
Oh, you mean your car? Yeah, no, I've seen the car. Oh, so you got the gauges and everything back in too. Yeah, check this thing out, man. This thing is super clean.
Yeah,
It looks a lot cleaner when you do.
I work in an 86 F-150.
Yeah,
No cables.
yeah.
I hate the cables.
Oh yeah, no, I know. The cleaner it is, the better. People open the hood and you're like, oh my God, you spend some time in there.
The only thing from the LS2 that we had was the bracket.
Yeah.
Pontiac brackets came way out.
Yeah,
And we had to fix the leak from the oil pan, so the engine had to be lifted up a little bit to
Yeah.
fix that leak. And then we had the rack and pinion. They did not build them for LS engines. They built them for the old engines. And I said, why don't you do it for the LS? He said, well, we stopped our engineering at that point. The only difference was the pulley V-belt versus the
Yeah.
serpentine. So we ended up doing
Yeah,
serpentine, but
even your compressor's chrome, man. Good Lord.
well, this is where I'm getting at.
yeah, this is brand new.
We had a leak from the old pump because
Yeah.
we had to have the pump change a little bit from the V-belt to serpentine,
Mm-hmm.
and so we ended up getting a whole new
Yeah, serpentine belt drive
bracket
and
that
everything.
came with chrome compressors and chrome alternators and
Yeah.
polished aluminum. So then we had
It's all billet. It's awesome.
yeah, then we had the air filter attached over to the fender over there, and
Yeah.
Javier says, well, that's covering up all of the polished aluminum in the chrome.
Right?
Got me.
Yeah, no, that looks nice,
Yeah,
man.
because
That-
this noise for range,
yeah, exactly.
Don't care the
That's a
air
showpiece
involved,
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he talked me into covering up the coils with the chrome
Yep.
valve covers, old school.
Yeah, now it looks old school.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, it looks
so it's
great,
a
man.
combination of both, the fuel injected LS look and the old school valve cover. So
Yeah, no, you did some good work, man. It looks
Well,
really clean.
the year before.
Last year.
Last year he blew up the engine and had to start all over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do that every couple of years. I I got 3 motors sitting at the shop right now. So, oh my God!
That's,
Wow.
he had to put it all back together.
That is
'cause he was
clean, man.
Using the wiring, and he insulated everything.
Yeah.
On the bottom. So now the loud outside.
It looks like a casket. You could fit a body in there.
No, you can fit 3 bodies in there.
All right. Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you got it figured out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, man.
Whatever you need, I'm here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That's what you meant.
Nice to meet you, man.
All right, see you guys later. Yeah, the alternator isn't charging at all. 1224. So standing voltage should be 12.5. Running voltage should be 13.5 to 14.5. It's at 12.25. So I overnighted another alternator from Summit. Let's see. Oh my God, come on. Why is this so hard? Yeah, so I overnighted this alternator Tuesday. Today is Thursday, and it says on its way. Let's track it and see what it says. The delivery date will be provided as soon as possible. Unbelievable. I have to take the bracket off to adjust the tensioner, and I need to change the alternator when I do that. That's why I paid extra money to overnight it, so it'll be here yesterday, so when I take this thing apart today, I'll be able to do it. So obviously something happened on UPS's end, and now, because it shipped out from Summit at the right time, I saw the label. It shipped out, in fact, it shipped out the same day from Summit. It's just gonna hold everything up, because I gotta do this before I can put Ben's car back up here. So I'm gonna take this apart today, and now we're just gonna be waiting on this alternator because I have a dyno day, next week. So I gotta get this thing done in time and test it and make sure everything works before we bring it to the dyno, because I can't take this bracket off at the dyno and retension it if it doesn't work. So everything has to be done and then tested prior, and give me a day or two in order to be able to make adjustments if necessary. And that puts me on hold with Ben's car too. I would like to get his Holley EFI stuff in there, but well, I guess I can do everything inside the car and outside without lifting it up, the majority of the wiring, so I'll just do it on the ground. But yeah, so whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up and start taking it apart, because I gotta come apart anyway and get the monotonous crap out of the way. Turn that off now. That was just to get the exhaust gases out of here, so we weren't sitting here crying. Oh my God! Ah. Might as well close this door and put some heat in here. That guy's done a really good job on Stothy's car, man. That thing looks good. It's super clean. Oh, I forgot about this. This doesn't go to anything anymore. I gotta disconnect that. It's just hanging out. Okay, so everything we just did, let's go ahead and take it apart. I mean, naturally, that is what we do. Come on, Ben, man. I'm trying to get shit done. Killing me, kid. Yeah. Killing me, Smalls. It's probably before your time.
No, I know the same one.
It wasn't. That's from Friday. Oh, was this Sandlot too?
Little kid, yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking it wasn't. I'm thinking Biggie Smalls is why I say Smalls. But what? Big Perm. That's what I'm thinking of. Big Perm. Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
By the time
Yeah. Okay. Come on, baby. Come on. See, I told you. I knew that clamp was going to fall again. I could smell it. Yeah, I forgot about that. There we go. We're just going to catch everything. Everything's going to fall on the floor. Okay. Yeah. All right, you. Yep. we know you go to, where's my washer? I heard you hit. Where'd you go? Oh, wow, you rolled far. Okay. Voila. Get rid of you. All right. All that's off. See, now would be the perfect time to get the alternator out because it's right there. Sure would be nice if we had an alternator to put there. Do I complain too much? Is that a little bit? Yeah, it's true. All right. Yeah. All right. So here is how we do this. So the tensioner has all these little adjustments. So we need to adjust this in a way that makes this tighter. I'm not quite sure how we do that. So I'm probably gonna have to watch a video or something. Oh, no, okay. So this bolt comes out. So this automatically, this is at the lowest tension level and it's all the way down. So I was trying to think, okay, well, how if I make it tighter, if I clock it tighter, then this is gonna go past this. But this comes out, it looks like this is just a bolt hole. So it'll go past and then we can adjust it further and then cock this back and put this back in it. So yeah, okay. Now it all makes sense. Very nice. You're probably supposed to put this in a vise, which we don't own, but that's okay. Yeah, all right. So we will play with that when we come back. All right. Let me get this out of the way because this no longer serves a purpose. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Really? Maybe I should clean this one of these days. Just saying. Just saying. Let's make sure it's tight. Tight as it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, okay. You ain't going nowheres. All right. So now, when we put the belt on this thing, it's gonna be tight. Get over there somewhere. Come on. Yeah, come on. Come on. You want to. We know you do. Get on there. Oh. Yeehaw. See if it is as easy to put on as it was to take off. That sure would be nice. If I actually had this thing figured out for once. Yeah. Here, I'll put you over here and see if you can see what we're working on at all. Or if my face is just gonna get in the way. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. Let's actually tighten these things down. So barely any tension, or I mean barely any, movement, but you can see that this is almost straight. So I could literally lift it off of it. And when it's straight, I can twist it a ton. So I think we're good. That's just giving it some extra friction there. All right. So that's nice and tight. Let me just once over the belt alignment. Make sure everything's on. Doesn't really matter. As long as it goes on, it stays on. Yeehaw! All right, are we back on? I think so. I think we're good. Are you hitting? No? You're just barely clearancing the radiator? That's good, that's good. You're good, yes. That's strapped on there, nice and tight. We did smoke test you, then we pressure tested. So yeah, okay, I think we're good, yeah. And I don't know if you can hear outside, but it is raining. Love to go test this thing, but yeah, not happening. That's awesome. You know, just have dyno in 2 days, but this is part of it. So we will wait until it hopefully stops raining today or tomorrow so we can drive this thing. All right. Definitely going into boost. Having to go into 4th gear so we don't die. All right, so we just got to drive it around a little bit and make sure that, you know, we get it hot so we can pick it back up, make sure there's no leaks and stuff like that, and we should be good. All right, so it looks like everything's good. We put the new alternator on, it's charging at like almost 15 volts. The ProCharger tension, the dry belt tension, whatever you want to call it, blower belt, is good. We took it out for a ride. AFR seemed okay. It's definitely going into boost. So I don't want to, you know, overdo it until we actually dyno it and check everything. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. So the next video we'll be doing, I have a dyno appointment tomorrow, so that'll probably end up being the next video, and then we'll get back to Ben's engine install and 480 swap and Holly EFI install. So yeah, that's it for now, man.